I'm Kold Kwan.
On the flag of Spain, the motto is engraved from the Strait of Gibraltar flowing in my veins.
And this is my story. I'm originally from Quincy, Massachusetts, actually. Quincy is a Chinese-American pretty area, so I did live similar to my non-Asian friends, but also a lot of different ways. My childhood was very different. My dad is from Hong Kong when it was still a British colony. And my mom is from Guangzhou, which is a city 3 hours north. So my childhood I would say that in many aspects, it was like a normal childhood, pre-smartphone periods, playing with our Razor scooters. When I was a child, I was really into video games. Like I remember, I had a PlayStation 1, I played Spyro, watched a lot of Cartoon Network, Teen Titans, Samurai Jack. There was Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and in Toonami, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Adult Swim. There was things like Fullmetal Alchemist, Inuyasha. Growing up in an Asian a household, especially when you're the child of immigrants have to work hard. So they expect you to work hard too and live up to their standards. My parents, they're Americanized in a lot of ways, but they're also traditional. My mom actually had Garrett, by age 30, a good job, have a girlfriend, get married one day. So even my mom, my parents, particularly my mom, has this set in stone image of how life should be. With Black Americans and Hispanic Americans, for all their grievances and struggles they've had to go through as a group, they're seen in the general public as being more American than Asians. Asians, I think, will always be seen as perpetual foreigners. And COVID-19 was a huge example of where people show their true colors. COVID was just an excuse for them to let it all out. Yeah, and I think that this is much more common than especially Asian males who've lived in a majority white area. When I moved to Winchester, we struggle with white acceptance, truly loving ourselves. And something I didn't mention that's also unique to Asian males, since over 100 years, America's tried to emasculate the Asian male. We have all the ugly stereotypes, the short end of the stick, and that's also something that's unique to us because we have to deal with that as well. Yeah, I would say that, so there's a point that I became proud to be Asian again. I would say my last year in college, because I took a semester off. I was going through a lot. I was going through stuff. I took a semester off to kind of heal, get myself back together. I think that period of time was important for me because by healing and having a healthier sense of who I was, that made me more proud of who I am as a person. I approach my music differently. Just as an Asian American, Asian rappers in the Boston scene are uncharted territory. And especially with my sound has been described as pretty niche, just because it doesn't really fit any conventional box. It's mostly indirect in the influence, just how I approach things differently. I'm hard on myself because I have the potential to be great, and I keep making excuses. I procrastinate, even though it adds a lot of feel to my music at times, like 2 Steps from Hell. And I also think all of it's very detrimental to how I live as a person. No one always wants to feel in doubt. You have to love yourself, and life's a journey. I try not to focus on the outcome too much. So I think being part of a music community like that of the Boston has helped me come a long ways. Music is one of the few times, especially when I perform, that I feel completely in control of the creative process, the lyrics, my persona. But that's the thing, it is a persona, but I put a lot of my real life experiences and struggles. So music for me is this. For me, it's a creative outlet. On stage, I feel like the vision of who I want to be. Confidence, commanding stage presence, engaging with the audience. It's also music since I started becoming active in the scene. I've made all the friends the sense of purpose and community I've gotten from music, it's a beautiful thing. It got me out of some dark places last year. A lot of my music usually deals with my mental health struggles, introspection, and if not, usually also concepts. I like experimental stuff. Like I would say MF Doom, Earl Sweatshirt, Denzel Curry, Kendrick Lamar, who's still my favorite rapper to this day. Enunciation, cadence, and rhyme schemes. Eminem was a huge part of that. Yeah, JPEG Mafia, if you've heard of him. Armand Hammer, Billy Woods, and Elusive. They just sound, they're part of like an abstract rap subgenre, and they sound completely different from everyone else. My first song was a grime beat, UK grime? That was my sound influence. So I want something fast-paced, jagged, kind of electronic, like hard-hitting. And the producer, he just sent me some beats, like, oh yeah, I'm not using these. At that time, I just finished watching an anime called Devilman Crybaby, which is one of my favorite shows ever. It's about a pure-hearted human. He's an empath. He cries for other people's pain, and they're all just like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why are you crying for? Through a series of events, he gets taken over by a demon champion. But because he's a pure-hearted human, the demon Amon fails to take over his human consciousness and human heart. Things like his confidence and hedonism go all the way up. He still retains his human consciousness and his human heart the whole way through. He has to deal with that, and he struggles with his own identity as well. The song itself tackles there's a lot of allegories, allusions, fighting demons, Spitfire, Big L's level, My Mind is Hell, and the Devil's Son, Big L. Hook is a shout outs to 3 6 Mafia, 666. I mentioned the 7 deadly sins, the Children of the Corn, Smoking the Devil Lettuce. So there's a lot of just different allegories. But the message of my verse in that song, coping with who I am and the demons and the devil that does reside in all of us. Oxidize is a song about substance use. It's multiple themes. It's about resilience. Even the end of the hook, it's like smoke a blunt, all is well. But the verses have me questioning my own. The second verse part in particular has me questioning on my own substance use, introspective. Are you using this as an escape? Is this your use of it? It's gone beyond what you initially used it for. Stress relief, sativa trees I best believe to let my demons rest in peace when fallen angels mess with me. I fear God and fear me, hear thoughts of heresy. Fear cost of the smeared cross is to bear loss, barely. Wonder if I'm compromising my morals and who I am with escaping and getting, because I think substance use leads you to other slippery slopes. And the third verse of that song is about coming down from a Molly trip.
The rainbow, the come down is painful.
I did Molly once. It was terrible. I had a tight chest for a couple months after that.
The devil man, I free fly, I devise with 3 eyes.
I don't want to do that ever again. Yeah, 2 Steps from Hell, I wrote that. I was going through a lot of mental health challenges. Heartbreak was the trigger. There was a lot of self-loathing, being really critical on myself, being hard on myself. That's when my therapist was really helpful for me, and that's why the hook and the end of each verse is very optimistic. So that song, I want something that was really intense. I was watching Dragon Ball Super. There's a song called Beerus Madness. Funny enough, he's a god of destruction in that show. The song is very epic, higher sounding vocals, and then the main part, he also has strings. We chopped it up, that whole song, the samples, and then I wanted to do drill, but in a way that I wanted to be different. I wanted to do in a way that no one else has done it before. And then instead of talking about, fucking up my ops, I did something that was real to me, which was talking about my issues and not fighting my ops, but fighting what's bothering me. I've said this to friends. My most personal song is 2 Steps from Hell, because of just the fiery nature, the struggles, but the optimism. And 1 for the money, 2 for your woes, 3 for the lucky, 4's to go, 5 for the vibe, ride with the whip, crucified you to die with the 6. Hell is dark, but I'm no foe. Hell is hot, but I am cold. Wore my heart and wore my soul, wore it on my sleeve and pull. And I think that all that, the hook, encapsulates like who I am and my artistry. Kold Kwan, that song in particular, I wanted also something slower because I have a lot of fast-paced songs. That song is more mellow, it's more slow, and I wanted the lyrics to deal with like catatonic depression. That's why I sound very dreary in that song. The lines that would capture the vibe of that song is, kept in the dark that I got no wattage, as gone as the spark in my eyes melancholic. Mental breakdown from the stress catabolic. Was there anything left? Then I felt catatonic. And then I had my boy Nico Hustle, who normally does a lot of melodic, like singing, auto-tune. Normally wouldn't do the stuff I do, but would fit for that particular moment. And then the hook, he's
drugs only numb the pain. They don't really hide anything. These problems never go away. Just like these haters. So laugh now, cry later.
And continuing the whole sampling drill, doing drill differently. I sampled a villain group in an anime called My Hero Academia, and the same producer who helped me chop up and make 2 Steps from Hell, I had him do this job because that's what he does. He's great with drill shit. Sound is like a drill symphony orchestra because the instrumental like changes a good amount. So my verse in particular is about, I use the amygdala and the fight or flight response. I use Flight 93 from the 9/11 attacks. If you remember Flight 93 and the people in Pennsylvania were fighting, I use that as a metaphor. Negativity acts, it feeds back, not the mic, but like a loop. Anxiety incites a coup. Amygdala is hijacked. Flight 93, I fight back. But flying free is a pipe dream. Lying on some napalm, I smoke cigs, create calm. Withdrawals a delayed bomb. And that's my struggles with addiction, because I'm like addicted. The definition changes, but for me, making it is that I can do this as a full-time endeavor, and that in the scene that I'm in, I've made waves, and that I'm recognized for what I do. And for me, it's also a personal thing, paving the way for more Asian American artists to do something different than MC Jin did and Dumbfounded, my predecessors did before me.